Welcome back to another AMAG Asks. This time, I'm lucky enough to have John Nemerofsky with us. John, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. Excited to be here.
So John and I go back a little bit, and when I was thinking about, as we continue to have different conversations around the industry in general, as many of you know, John's Chief Operating Officer at Sage. In addition to that, a board member for PSA, SIA, FAST, Mission 500, SSNI magazine. What am I missing? Anything there, John?
You covered them all. Thanks.
Needless to say, well versed in our space. I would also say, based on my observation of John, a student of our industry, and one who's always advocating on our industry's behalf. So no better person than John to talk to today. And really, I think, John, more of a free-form conversation around, where you think we're at and where we're going. But before I just ramble, maybe a quick introduction about yourself so people who aren't familiar with you get familiar.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. So I've been fortunate for being in the industry for 25 years now, from startup businesses in the integration world to working at multi-billion-dollar operations like Stanley Black & Decker, through the Niskaya acquisition, where I got to meet so many thousands of incredible people, smart people dedicated to the industry and serving their clients, to then working with Sage that was created through two acquisitions, one in Kent, Ohio, and one in Atlanta, Georgia, of two incredible companies, ASCO Security Consultants and DTS Security. And we've since grown globally since then as a company to support our clients. Incredible group of people working to serve and protect clients' assets, brand, and people every day. And just love what I'm doing in the industry, passionate about helping clients, helping companies, working with great technology partners like AMAG to help solve problems, specifically working closely with Kyle and your team, as you know, working on that identity management challenge the industry has in front of us and how to help enterprise clients solve that.
That's perfect. And it's a perfect place maybe for us to start. You mentioned identity management. That kind of queued up for me how much I've learned in a very short period of time on things that are becoming a lot more relevant now than maybe even they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 25 years ago. Based on your experience, John, in all of those companies, in all of these roles, and then obviously in the additional industry partnerships that you're in, what have you seen move the most here of late? What are your customers asking for that maybe something that was not talked about or hasn't been discussed or wasn't discussed in the past that you're seeing a large appetite for now?
Yeah, so there's a few things on that list. Number one would be identity management and clients wanting to have platforms that take them from hire to retire. And how do you make that employee experience as it integrates with a company onboarding to retiring work seamlessly, integrated into access control and surveillance and so many different systems. Number two would be the movement to the cloud. And I think it ties into the whole challenge that the industry's working on as far as workforce development. And as we're having challenges finding technicians that still want to pull cable and cut in strikes and do the physical work and not just the engineering part of the job, so do all our clients have the same workforce development problem. So the days of spinning up a server internally are becoming harder and harder to do. So it's starting to accelerate the movement to the cloud. I think that then enhances what an integrator needs to do as far as SOC 2 compliancy. And if 3 years ago, Kyle, you asked any of your integrator partners, are they SOC 2 compliant? They'd kind of look at you like my dog Edmund does when I talk to him, and they just
Yeah.
tilt their head, not understanding the words that are coming out of your mouth. So I think cloud and SOC 2 and privacy have become a big part of it. And then the biggest challenge the industry is facing is around workforce development and promoting that worker. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate to volunteer on the FAST board, the Foundation for Advancing Security Talent, is to enhance and bring that worker into the space. And that's got to do with rebranding our space and stop calling ourselves the electronic security industry and call ourselves SecTech, security technologies, and it just flows better. And that hit me about 5 years ago, Kyle. We had a group of interns in for the summer, and they were ready to leave to go home to their families and friends the first week after being with Sage interning. And I said, have you guys thought about what you're going to say when you go to a party or see your family this weekend? What are you doing for the summer? And I wrote them a little script saying, well, I'm working in SecTech. And they said, SecTech, what's that? And they said, security technologies. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm working for a security systems integrator. Who's that? Oh, it's Sage Integration. What are you doing for the summer? I'm the marketing intern. It flows a lot better than saying I work in electronic security and they think you're working at Best Buy for the summer, instead of we're somewhere like AMAG or at Sage or some of the key partners you have like
Yeah.
Salient.
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess let me kind of follow up on that. So how are we doing? I mean, as an industry, I think it's to your point. From my perspective, absolutely, talent is the most fundamental thing that we need to solve for. Talent, how we continue to add, exciting new talent. I had a conversation with a few of the folks from the CRI's community on recently, and they were talking about, we're having conversations about how that community didn't exist when I started. So the fact that we're seeing kind of networking going on at a level that maybe it hadn't in the past, but I think for me, and you touched on it earlier, I'm less concerned, and maybe I should still be concerned about maybe the administrative roles and the business roles and the leadership roles. I'm very concerned about how we continue to get good technical talent in the field, right? Because a lot of those techs that helped me and my customers 17, 18 years ago when I was, and the skill sets that they possess, you're just not seeing it backfilled as quickly as we need, right?
Yeah, you're spot on, Kyle. I think what we're building with FAST, with the help of technology partners like yourself, are job boards, campaigns to create awareness, but most of all, a learning management system that we can take to 900 high schools right now throughout the United States, so that somebody could graduate high school and be symmetry
Oh, that's awesome.
certified. And then getting hired on board with a Sage or other national integrators, instead of just, wow, I've got 3 or 4 years to invest in this person before they're ready to be in front and lead a project and lead an installation where they're already certified in a technology, so they have awareness, and you're starting to teach them at a level 2 instead of a level 1. And also, while you're bringing this curriculum to initially 900 high schools in the United States, you're creating awareness that there is a security technologies curriculum, and creating that awareness that, yeah, when you do work with great products like AMAG, that you are working on networks, and you do need cyber certifications like SIA offers, Security Industry Association, like the SICC. So you are doing some stuff around the networks, right? Everything that AMAG sells to us today is on the network. So your clients want to know that you're SOC 2 compliant. They want to know that your technicians have that SICC. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but from the amount of growth that the industry is seeing, both from technology partners like yourselves and integrators, we need to move faster to bring new talent into the business.
And there's also an element of, how do you balance make sure that we don't forget our legacy, right? So you said it before, I think it's a really well put observation. So you can bring on a new technician who may be very well versed from a network perspective, but if they don't know how to cut in a strike or wire a door, right? Like so it just feels like some of the my fondest memories when I started on the integration side was having a technician who basically could show up and from door to database handle it all. And that feels like something that we may have lost a little bit, or maybe it's just becoming specialties. And 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 now we're asking also these technicians, as you see entries from a mobile perspective, from a cloud perspective, to be pretty savvy on the head end side, right, as well. So it seems like an obvious thing to state, but it's not necessarily something easy to crack, right?
Yeah, yeah. Finding that one technician that wants to, right? As they start to get symmetry certified, and SICC certified, and you ask them to run cable or cut in a strike, there's that dilemma: do they want to do that job? They've passed that job. They want somebody else running the cable, mounting the devices. They'll come in to finish the job. At Sage, what it's led us to do is work with our clients to embed more staff so that person's there every day programming their systems. They're familiar with their VMS, with their access control. And then we have our level 1 and level 2s running the cable and mounting devices. It's led to a different delivery mechanism because of the workforce development challenges.
You mentioned just a bit ago about sort of the rate of change, and I think it's the fastest I've seen since I've been in the space, and I think it's only going to accelerate. Part of that, I think, is due to sort of the I don't want to call them new entries, but you definitely have different entries into the space, right? From a software perspective, from maybe, I know it's not the right term, but a middleware perspective, but also then you have big players like Apple's, like Google's, like Samsung sort of entering as well, and almost feels like pulling the industry forward as well. So I think when you mentioned earlier about sort of expectations around how we talk about ourselves, that's being influenced by outside who are now inside factors too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the challenges we're going to face with some of these middleware companies and new companies coming into our space is the integrator does not always add value to these installations. Mm-hmm. And the integrator is going to need to make more changes, Kyle, to build out their professional services so that they can support these deployments of single user sign-on or asset management for clients, long-term storage of video, because these companies are sending off links that can be downloaded by the customer directly. And where's the integrator's value to these cloud solutions? So enhancement of professional services goes right along with continue to recruit new talent into the industry. Is how do you make your experienced people change and continue to grow?
Yeah, and it's certainly a journey, I would say, right? I think the first step to take in that growth is to be aware of the gap that we legacy security companies may have, right? And understanding that not all outsiders are actually adversaries. They're actually going to help us continue to bring the industry forward, right, in ways that'll make us all sort of evolve and grow.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I appreciate all that. Maybe just, John, as we kind of wrap up a little bit, because I know you're pretty busy. As we just talk about kind of where we sort of came from, where we're at now. What are you most excited about from an industry perspective? Where we're going, maybe in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I see AI, artificial intelligence, starting to play a bigger role in what we do in so many ways. We've got clients we're working with today that have taken their existing CRM tool and integrated that to their access control platform, that now have talking to their CrowdStrike incident management platform, so that when a door gets propped open or forced open, Kyle, AI can actually respond by saying, door has reset. So there's no spelling mistakes. There's no manual tasks for guards. And I know that sounds like a simple way to use AI, but we're 8 months into that journey, and AI is answering those questions. The door's been reset in the Symmetry platform, and no need for a guard to type anything 800 times a day. So that's some initial use cases for AI. I think is our practitioners start to come up with more challenges for us. Integrators and technology partners like AMAG are going to continue to come up with solutions created by AI to solve for that. So I think AI is where we're headed. And I know we're on a slow start to it, are some of the most amazing things we're going to see over the next 5 years.
Well, John, thanks for taking the time today. We certainly appreciate your insight, and congrats again on all your continued success.
Thank you. You too, Kyle. I look forward to seeing you in Orlando in a couple weeks.